Your e-bike might be slower than it should be, and the motor may not be the problem. A tiny brake adjustment can quietly give back speed you're already losing. Another trick can make your motor perform noticeably better without replacing a single part. And on some e-bikes, there's a hidden setting that completely changes when the motor stops helping you. But be careful, because one popular speed hack doesn't actually make your bicycle faster, it only makes the screen say it is. And make sure you stay until the end, because number one surprises almost everyone, and it can unlock more speed than anything else on this list. Let's start with number 10. Your brakes might be stealing your speed. Here's a problem almost nobody checks first. A slightly rubbing brake pad creates constant resistance, and most riders never realize it's there. They just assume the bicycle feels a little sluggish today. Lift your wheel off the ground and give it a spin. If it slows down unusually fast, or you hear a faint rubbing sound as it rotates, your brake alignment is quietly fighting your motor on every single ride. If you hear rubbing, check whether the rotor or rim is touching one brake pad. If it is, loosen the brake caliper slightly, center it so both pads have clearance, then tighten it back down. You're not adding power, you're simply getting back speed your brakes were stealing from you. But even with perfectly adjusted brakes, your e-bike could still be holding back power. Number 9, you might be using the wrong mode. Most e-bikes offer a handful of assistance modes, something like Eco, Normal, or Tour, Sport, and a top-tier mode often called Turbo or Boost. A lot of casual riders never realize just how much these modes actually change things. It's basically the e-bike equivalent of driving around in eco mode and wondering why the accelerator feels lazy. Use the mode button on your display or handlebar controls and cycle through the available assist levels. If your bike has a Sport, Turbo, or Boost mode, that's usually where you'll get the strongest assistance. Check your manual if the modes aren't clearly labeled. And it costs absolutely nothing. It might be the easiest speed fix on this entire list. But even in the right mode, your motor could still be wasting power somewhere you can't see. Number 8, your motor could be fighting your chain. Here's one almost nobody thinks to check. Because the motor still runs fine, so nothing feels obviously broken. A dry or grimy chain creates real friction, the same drivetrain drag you'd feel on a regular bicycle, except now your motor is the one quietly compensating for it, burning extra battery and power just to overcome resistance that shouldn't be there. Wipe the chain clean, apply bicycle chain lube to each roller, then wipe away the excess. Now your motor isn't fighting unnecessary drivetrain resistance. It's cheap, takes minutes, and most e-bike owners barely think about it. But your chain isn't the only source of resistance most riders overlook. Number 7, your tire pressure could be slowing you down. Here's a common misconception. More pressure doesn't automatically mean more speed. Underinflated tires genuinely increase rolling resistance, which quietly eats into your performance and your range. But overinflating past the recommended range doesn't just keep giving you speed back, it can actually reduce grip and comfort instead. The right pressure depends on your tires, your weight, and the terrain you're riding. Check your tire pressure with a gauge and compare it with the recommended range on the tire's sidewall or in your bike's manual. If you're well below it, inflate the tire gradually and test how the bike feels. But the next speed killer isn't in your tires, it's hiding inside your battery. Number 6, why your e-bike gets weaker as you ride. Ever noticed your e-bike feels stronger at the start of a ride than it does near the end? That's not necessarily your imagination. As the battery drains, some e-bikes can't deliver quite the same performance they did on a fresh charge. And an old, tired battery can make that difference even bigger. If your bike feels noticeably slower than it used to, compare its performance on a fresh charge. If it's still weak at 100%, an aging battery may be part of the problem. But even with a perfectly healthy battery, there's another huge source of drag, and this one is sitting on the bike. Number 5, you might be the biggest brake on your bike. This one has nothing to do with the motor at all, and it matters more the faster you're already going. The faster you go, the harder the air fights back. And at e-bike speeds, your riding position can make a surprisingly big difference. Sitting fully upright with loose clothing or gear catching the wind can cost you real speed for the exact same motor output. Tuck in a little, tighten down anything flapping in the wind, and you're getting free speed the motor was already trying to give you. Now we get to the tricks buried inside the electronics. Number 4, this speed hack might be lying to you. This one has fooled a lot of people. Most e-bike displays don't measure your actual speed with GPS. They calculate it using how fast your wheel is spinning, combined with a wheel size value programmed into the display. Here's the trap. Change that wheel size number instead of an actual assistance setting, and your display suddenly says 30 miles per hour. Great, except you might not actually be doing 30. If you're ever genuinely checking your real speed, verify it independently, a phone GPS app, or a separate cycling computer, anything that isn't reading off the same number you just edited. But there's another setting buried in the same menu that actually does something real. Number 3, there's another hidden setting most riders never touch. This is a different hidden setting than the one from the title, and most owners never realize there are two. Some e-bikes hide another setting that changes how aggressively the motor delivers its power. Check your owner's manual or display settings for a manufacturer-supported power, acceleration, or performance adjustment. If your model has one, stay within the manufacturer's allowed range. Turn it up on a supported model, and the bike can feel completely different off the line and climbing hills. It won't necessarily raise your top speed, but it can make the motor feel a whole lot stronger getting there. But that's still not the hidden speed setting from the title. Number 2, the setting you've been waiting for. This is the one from the title. Open your e-bike settings menu and look for something labeled speed limit, max speed, max assist, or a similar setting. On some displays, you'll get there by holding the plus and minus buttons together for a few seconds, while others use a dedicated settings button, so check your model's manual before changing anything. If your manufacturer allows the setting to be adjusted, you'll see the current assistance cutoff and the higher speed modes your model actually supports. Change it only within the manufacturer's supported range, save the setting, and that's it. No bigger motor, no new battery, no expensive controller. The hardware didn't change, the limit did. On some models, this is a genuinely significant jump. Certain e-bikes ship limited to around 20 miles an hour by default, while the same hardware is designed to assist up to roughly 28 once you switch into the manufacturer's higher speed mode. That's a real 40% increase from a setting that was sitting in the menu the entire time. Not every e-bike lets you change it, but if yours does, this could be the biggest free speed increase on the entire bike. But there's an even bigger restriction most owners never see, because number 1 isn't always sitting inside a menu. Number 1, the restriction you won't find in the menu. Some e-bikes have speed restrictions that go well beyond an ordinary user-adjustable menu setting, built into the firmware, the controller, and the way the system reads your speed sensor. This is also where aftermarket DE restriction devices come in. Some of them work by manipulating the signal the controller receives, making it believe your bicycle is moving slower than it actually is, which delays the point where assistance cuts out. Now, fooling the sensor doesn't magically make your motor twice as powerful. The hardware still has a physical limit, but it can keep the motor assisting beyond the speed where the factory electronics normally tell it to stop. And there's a catch. Once you start bypassing factory restrictions, you can run into warranty issues, reduced range, extra heat, and even legal problems depending on where you ride. So this is very different from simply changing a manufacturer-supported setting. That's the real secret behind e-bike speed. Sometimes the bicycle isn't slow because the motor can't go any faster. It's slow because the electronics have been told not to let it. The real secret behind e-bike speed. So before you spend hundreds upgrading your e-bike, make sure you're not leaving free speed on the table. Because sometimes the biggest difference isn't a new motor or battery, it's a setting you didn't know existed. Which one of these did you already know? Let me know in the comments.